हाँ. So we are going to do the same thing only. So just be at rest. After 5 minutes, you will get everything what you are looking for. Okay. Now there are two sites which I have given here at the bottom. Okay. So we will visit these sites and look first of all, as you are saying how it is given. So we go to first this site. Open both the sites. Okay. At the same time on your laptop, or if you can just see it here. So this is, whenever you are going to look at the rates, okay. So the US dollar versus Indian rupee, the rate is, which is the live rate today. Today the market is closed, so 85.7783. Now the rates are given up to 4 decimal places. That's a rule in, everywhere, most of it. In India also we have a 4 decimal place. And the last digit is called what? PIP. जो last digit है, that is PIP. So it changes by 1 PIP. 3 का 4 हो जाएगा, 4 का, जैसे अब next जो होगा वो 4 होगा, जैसे अगर बढ़ेगा, so it moves in pips. Okay, fine. So it is 0.001 is the PIP. Then it moves in that way. Okay. So the next code, suppose it goes up, it will be 85.7784. Okay, that means it has moved by 1 PIP. Okay. Now, so this is a complete rate. Where the site is giving you, don't have to calculate. The swap points are not given here. The rates are given to you. Overnight rate, bid, ask. And mid is the average of the bid plus ask. Okay, fine. And the points is basically the difference between the spot rate and the forward rate. Okay, so this is, bid का मतलब ये होता है, midpoint is basically bid plus ask divided by 2. It's an average rate. Sometimes when you go to the site, they give you this is the rate without specifying bid and ask. So it is always a mid rate. Okay, fine. So just to know that, because bid is for buying, ask is for, when you are, ask is when you are, buying, or bid is when you are selling. Okay, but it is just the opposite from the dealer's point of view. Bid is buying and ask is selling from the dealer's perspective. From the customer perspective, it's just the opposite. Okay. So the point is basically nothing but cost of carry. I'll explain you that later on. So that is the difference between the spot rate and the forward rate. Okay, fine. So we will do this exercise so you will be able to understand that very well. So now suppose you want to know what is the rate after 1 year. Suppose you have to make a payment after 1 year. So the rate is 85.8007 and 85.8019. Suppose if you are an importer, what's your good name? Rohit. So Rohit, if you are an importer, so which rate is valid for you? The 85.8019 or 85.8? So at what rate you are going to make a payment? Huh? Bid? No, ask. Because you are an importer. हाँ, आप import कर रहे हो तो आपको हायर, देखो अब दोनों में से हायर कौन सा है? आपने देना है पैसा, हाँ बाई करनी है, तो फॉरेन करेंसी बाई करने का रेट जो है वो आस्क है. Ask belongs to the importers, bid belongs to the exporters. So just listen to me again. Just listen to my explanation. Now bid is a buying rate. Buying rate of what? The dealer. So that means if I am giving my dollars, he will buy at that rate, bid rate. But if I have got dollars and I give it to the dealer, so I am selling, he is buying from me. Okay, fine. If it is ask, it is just the opposite. Okay. Fine. So ask is always higher. That means when you have to buy at a higher rate. When you have to sell at a lower rate. अगर आप भूल भी जाओ तो आप देखो इसमें से रेट ज़्यादा कौन सा वाला है? Ask वाला है. So when you are an importer, you have to pay higher amount. Is that okay? Fine. Now this is one way of looking it. Now I'll just open the other also site. Then I'll go to the Excel sheet which you're supposed to do at your end also, the same thing. So you have to choose your own currency pair and do the same analysis what I have done in my this thing. So now we go to a site where instead of giving the full rates, the rate is given in points. Okay. अभी आपको समझ में आ जाएगा अच्छी तरह. आप एक्सरसाइज करोगे ना तो भूलोगे ही नहीं कभी भी. So now this is another site which gives you the spot rate, and then it gives you like this forward rates. So it is giving you the points, not the rate. Okay, so bid and ask, like bid is 0.30, okay, ask is 1.9. So he is not giving you a full rate, he is giving you only swap points. So you have to just add from the spot, okay, if the currency is increasing. If the dollar is appreciating, then you have to add. If the dollar is depreciating, then that means you have to deduct. Okay, so we'll understand that again. So now now these rates are,
what are these SWSL?
हाँ, I am just explaining that. अभी आप खुद एक्सरसाइज करोगे आपको समझ में आ जाएगा. So this is ओवरनाइट, यानी कि नेक्स्ट डे का रेट है. आज का रेट ये है, कल का रेट जो है दैट इज ON. देन we come to 1 month forward. So similarly you have TN, SN and SW, which I am going to explain. This is week, next week. Okay, fine. Then we have 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, 5 month, like this you have rates. Okay, so आपको क्या करना है, अब इन दोनों चार्ट्स को आपने कॉपी पेस्ट करके एक फाइल में ले जाना है. ओके, यहाँ पर this is what you are going to do. Okay, so now what I have done, I have copied paste the rates from the site. Now when you copy and paste, you will not get the rate like this. Okay, तो आप इसको चैट जीपीटी में ले जाओ, AI में, और उसको बोलो उसको कन्वर्ट कर दो एक्सेल शीट में. So you just download the file from the site, just take a snapshot and go to ChatGPT and attach the file there and say convert this into an Excel sheet. So it will be done by. Then you download, it will look like this. Okay, fine. Is that okay? हाँ, ये एक्सेल मैंने कर दिया, मैं एक दिन पहले कर देता हूँ. ओके, हाँ वही है. तो नाउ यू हैव मैंने करके रिवाइज करके एक बार दोबारा और करी है, क्योंकि उसके बाद भी मैंने कई चेंजेस करी हैं. आपको रिवाइज भी और दोबारा भेज दूंगा जो इसमें नहीं है. Okay, so now we have this rate. Just look at this Excel sheet. So it has the spot rate, and this is on 1st of January 2025 when I took the snapshot. Okay, so this is a very good exercise. Please listen, and if you do this, आपके फंड एकदम क्लियर हो जाएंगे, and it's a very good learning also for everyone. So this is the bid rate, this is the ask rate. Okay, now this is the formula which is given here. So what I have done, I have asked ChatGPT to convert this into an Excel sheet along with formulas, how you have calculated the bid and ask rate. So it has given a formulas. So formulas भी आ गए, नहीं तो आप खुद भी formula बना सकते हो. It's very simple. The spot rate plus the bid rate. Okay. और मैं अगर यहाँ जाता हूँ तो it will be spot rate plus the ask rate. Okay. So you keep adding the spot rate plus the bid and ask. So you will have now a complete picture about what is the rate. So the second site which I was telling you, it is actually calculated the same way. Is that okay? जो हमने second site में तो आपको पूरी पक्की पकाई मिल गया था rates, तो आपने भी उसको convert कर दिए. Is that okay? Now इधर मैंने इसमें क्या करा है कि you can just ask, what you do is that, so ultimately what you have to do this exercise and you have to make a report. Okay. In the first sheet, you have to make a report that what you have learned from all this exercise. Okay, once I complete that. So then you just ask the ChatGPT, please explain me all the columns and rows of this table. So he'll tell you everything. Okay, so he says that bid rate is nothing but spot plus bid plus forward points. Okay, now forward points have to be divided by 100. तो ये जो पॉइंट हैं यहाँ पर, इनको पहले इसको 100 से डिवाइड करना पड़ेगा. तो आप देखो फॉर्मूला में क्या आ रहा है, सबसे ऊपर फॉर्मूला में आ रहा है B1 विच इज द स्पॉट रेट प्लस B3 विच इज द बिड रेट डिवाइडेड बाय 100. ओके, फाइन. इज दैट ओके? तो फिर ये ऐड हो जाएगा. आपको ऐसे ऐड नहीं करना, आपको इसको फॉरवर्ड पॉइंट्स को 100 से डिवाइड करना है. फाइन. इज दैट क्लियर? ओके. नाउ वंस यू हैव डन दिस, सो नेक्स्ट होगा पॉइंट फॉरवर्ड प्रीमियम. नाउ यू वांट टू नो at what rate the forward, compared to the spot, at what premium the dollar is trading, what percentage, okay? So you calculated the bid rate, and then it is, for the first month, then second month, like this for up to 2 years, the rate is given here. Is that okay? Fine. So then the bid premium. So premium is 3%. The formula is coming at the top, okay, which is B2. I just, इसको formula में हम देख सकते हैं, B2 divided by 100, okay, divided by 85.506 into 12 divided by D2. So it is calculating the premium कि इन दोनों में स्पॉट रेट में और फॉरवर्ड रेट में दोनों में डिफरेंस कितना है और कितना परसेंटेज बढ़ गया रेट. It's like this. What is the difference between, just listen to me, what is the difference between bid rate, what is the difference between the spot rate and the forward rate, okay? So that difference divided by the base, which is a spot rate, it will give you a percentage and you have to analyze it. Fine. उसको analyze करना, तो annual आ गया, आप यहाँ देखोगे आप, तो it is coming 3% is the bid, okay? Okay, now just look at the 1 year forward rate. 1 year में rate कितना आ रहा है? 2.5%. That means, 1 year is very relevant rate, this thing, because the short term, there is a lot of volatility and everything, the percentage may go up and down. But 1 year will tell you, 1 year basis में हमारा जो rate है, जो है 2.4% बढ़ा हुआ रेट में, जो स्पॉट रेट से अराउंड 2.4% डॉलर ज़्यादा है. Okay, fine. What does that mean? It means there is an inflation rate differential between India and America is roughly around 2.5%. Or more, better way, what is the interest rate differential between India and America? That's about 2.41%. Interest rate. Interest rate. Okay. So now what I did was I cross-checked. I'll just show you that. The interest rate in India, now we look at what interest rate? The government bond rate. 10-year government bond rate. 1 year government bond rate. तो 1 year government bond rate जो है इंडिया में 6.67% चल रहा है और अमेरिका में चल रहा है 4.16. अगर that means the bonds which are issued by RBI on behalf of government every week, okay, it carries a coupon rate. So that is the rate at which the government is borrowing money, okay, and a lot of people are investing in them. Basically banks, financial institutions or mutual funds. And because we are investing in mutual funds, we are also having exposure to these bonds. Most of us have, and we don't realize that, okay. So the difference between the two is how much? 2.5%. So it is exactly playing out in your forward rates also. Okay, fine. जो दोनों का डिफरेंस है 1 साल का इंटरेस्ट रेट का, वो 1 साल के फॉरवर्ड रेट्स में रिफ्लेक्ट हो जाएगा. ओके, इज दैट क्लियर? नाउ what I have done is I have gone to a site called trading. आप इसमें क्या कर सकते हो, इस साइट पे चले जाओ tradingview.com में and go for a 1 month trial version, okay, and then cancel it if you don't want to, because it's of no use for you. So I have a 1 month paid version also with me, okay. Now go to Indian government bond yields. So this is the bond rates, okay. So अभी जो bond rate कितना चल रहा है 1 year का 6.645%. It is telling you at what rate, if the government takes money for 1 year, government is paying roughly 6.64% rate of interest, okay. So this is the yield, not the coupon rate, because these bonds are tradable in the market, okay. So because the bonds are trading either at a premium or discount, so आपका वो premium से जो rate होता है coupon rate से थोड़ा हट जाता है, because today somebody is going to invest, he is going to invest at the current price, okay. So the rate that I'll explain you later, okay, fine. So अभी इसका मतलब चलो कि ये coupon rate है, for your understanding, think that this is the rate which the government is borrowing from public or from financial institutions. So 1 year rate, okay, 3 month rate is this. And if the government is issuing bonds for 2 years, then the rate is this. The government borrows at 30 years also. 30 साल के लिए भी government borrow करती है. That means government issues bonds which they have to repay back after 30 years. But somebody wants to sell, he can sell in the stock market. Because you are not tied up for 30 years. If you are thinking that इसमें निकल जाऊँ मैं, तो आपको पैसा वापस मिल जाता है. But these bonds will actually mature after 30 years. Okay, the person who holds the bond till maturity, he is going to get his money back. 100 rupees. Suppose 100 rupees का bond है अगर तो.
So during these 30 years, they will be paying the interest process?
They are going to pay the interest which is appearing on your yield column. Think that this is the coupon rate, but this is not a coupon rate. They pay at the coupon. Now, coupon rate can be slightly higher, 7.5%. The yield can be lower and higher than the coupon rate. I'll explain you the phenomenon later and why, how it hovers. So, now just notice here, which coupon rate or yield is highest? The 30-year. They are called risk-free bonds. They are called risk-free. इसमें कोई रिस्क नहीं है. अगर आप पैसा लगाओगे तो गवर्नमेंट की सॉवरन रेटिंग है और आपको पैसा मिल जाएगा गवर्नमेंट से. But ideally speaking, there is no risk. There should not be difference of any yield or coupon rate. But since you give the money for 30 years, so the person who is going to give, he will demand a little higher interest rate. The person who is giving money for only 3 months, the interest rate will be lower. By that logic, it should be like 3 months का सबसे lowest होगा और 30 years का सबसे ज़्यादा होगा. You are noticing that? Now you just plot a graph. इसको बोलते हैं yield curve. This is a very important graph. ये graph आ गया आपका. Okay. Now ये जो graph है Indian government bond yields. Okay. So these are our government bond yields. You can make a graph for corporate bonds and other bonds, but this is the most sacrosanct is a government bond. Now there are 3 lines here. The line which is dark blue. Okay. This is the current rate. यानी कि 3 महीने से लेके 30 years तक का rate of interest plotted है. Okay. And there is a graph. So graph is upward sloping. If this is the shape of is called yield curve, then the country is fine. Then we say that the country is not in recession. Country is doing fine. It should be an upward sloping curve. That means the longer the period, higher the rate would be. Sometimes this becomes inverse, which means the shorter term yields are very high and longer term yields are low. So that means currently the world or that country is passing through a recession or about to be under recession. Okay, because the people are demanding more rate of interest for even giving the money for 3 months. But over the long term, people think that इतने साल तक तो नहीं होगा, आगे जाके तो ठीक ही हो जाएगा. तो अभी करंट में 3 महीने में 2 साल में यील्ड बढ़ी हुई नजर आ जाएगी. तो जैसे ही यील्ड कर्व इन्वर्स हो जाता है और धीरे धीरे इन्वर्स होता है, तो इकोनॉमिस्ट एंड financial analysts predict that there is going to be a recession in that country. Okay. In 2008, when there was a financial meltdown, the first yield curve which got inverted was US this thing, and the stock market were rising and yield curve was actually inversing. People were not, it was giving a warning signal that the party is going to be over, and then the stock market fell down by about 60% from there on. January 2008 से लेके 3-4 महीने में the stock market fell down by 60%. The Sensex tumbled down from 22,000 level to 8,000. Okay, so that was the worst meltdown, and the signal was given by the yield curve that time. People ignored that, but this is a very normally the yield curve will give you 90% time it will give you a correct signal, but 10% time it can give you a false signal also. It can be just a short-term phenomena and the yield curves can go back. Abhi Ukraine war and other time, the yield curves were getting inverted for Europe, Germany, everywhere. For India, it was still flat. It was not, this thing. अब हम देखते हैं ये 3 लाइन है इसमें. एक तो है अभी की ब्लू वाली, 1 साल पहले की ऊपर वाली लाइन है. This means what? The interest rates have come down over last 1 year, which is a good news. That means government is borrowing at a lower rate of interest, and which means that if the interest rates, the government is what they're borrowing at a lower rate, that means the banks are giving loans at a lower rate. It is good for the corporate world. So the government wants the yield curve should become as low as possible so that the cost of capital becomes cheaper and the corporate world can take money and deploy that money into building up new machines, equipments, factories. So this is a very important barometer of the economy. But now the red line is a month before. So 1 महीने में interest rates have gone up. Okay. Though over the 1 year period the interest rates have come down, but over the 1 month period the interest rates have gone up. and this is because after the Trump's election results which came, okay, so this has pushed up the yield curve higher, okay. Now, whether it will be a temporary one, and there is a lot of uncertainty, okay, fine, and that will get only removed when the Trump comes to power and people think that ये तो ठीक है, कोई problem नहीं आ रही, India के लिए is okay, and for world it is not going to be a bad thing, then the yield curve may flatten out, okay, fine. So this is what the yield curve is telling you, okay. Similarly, this is this is the, अब मैंने आपको यहाँ दिखाया कि जो अब यहाँ आ जाते हैं. So you can go to the US also. US का भी आप देख सकते हैं. Okay, fine. Let me show you, or you can बाद में देखें इसको. इंडिया का ठीक है. ये हमने yield का इंडिया का देखा था. We can see the US yield curve also. Okay, let's see. Though that is not part of our learning, but anyway.
Sir, when we will be projecting the economy is going to be in the recession in future, in that case the bond curve will be inverted.
Inverted, yeah.
Recession होगा तो
हाँ, वो धीरे धीरे क्या होगा, धीरे धीरे आपका यील्ड कर्व इन्वर्ट होता जा रहा है. ओके, अगर इन्वर्ट होता जा रहा है, दैट मीन्स देयर इज अ स्ट्रगल इन द इकोनॉमी एंड पीपल आर डिमांडिंग हायर रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट, इन्फ्लेशन इज गोइंग अप एंड द गवर्नमेंट इज गिविंग हायर इंटरेस्ट टू द पीपल, बिकॉज अगर इन्फ्लेशन बहुत ज़्यादा है तो आपको इन्फ्लेशन से ज़्यादा लोगों को पैसा देना पड़ेगा, तभी तो आपके बॉन्ड में पैसा लगाएंगे लोग. तो अगर इन्फ्लेशन बढ़ रही है, बॉन्ड की जो कूपन रेट बढ़ रहे हैं, यील्ड बढ़ रही है, so that means what will happen, it is going to be a bad news for the economy, so the economic indicators start declining, okay, and that is the logic behind that, okay. तो अभी हम इसमें वापस चलते हैं without going for this thing, then I have to search and then I'll show you that the US yield curve. So हमने देखा कि दोनों में डिफरेंस जो आ रहा है, इंडिया का जो yield curve है that is showing a 6.67% interest rate for 1 year and USA का 1 year का जो है 4.16% है. The USA का पहले कितना होता था, 2% होता था. अभी तो आफ्टर यूक्रेन वॉर लॉट ऑफ इन्फ्लेशन हैपनिंग इन यूरोप एंड अदर कंट्रीज, सो द 1 year द बॉन्ड रेट इन अमेरिका हैज आल्सो गॉन अप टू 4.5%, बट दे आर ट्राइंग टू ब्रिंग इट डाउन. So still the difference is around 2.5%. That is reflecting in the currency rates also. So 1 year rate, forward rate is 2.4% higher than the spot rate. Okay, fine. तो आपने क्या करना है, I mean when you are going to do the exercise, I'm going to explain a lot of things further. So you have to choose your own currency pair. Like I have chosen USD INR, which is the simplest one. You can choose USD, Euro, or Euro in INR, whatever currency you choose, and do the same analysis जो मैंने आपको Excel sheet में करते हुए दिखा रहा हूँ. Now when I was looking at this, because normally it is the interest rate differential which gets reflected in the forward rate and the spot rates, but the 1 month is telling you 3.7%. So I was thinking why the rate is very high. It's not the interest rate differential, okay. So but interest rate differential in 1 month will be still higher because the 1 month interest rate is going to be higher than the 1 year, okay, but उतना high नहीं है. So then I made a chart. Again the ChatGPT has made this chart. So it is like this is the months and this is the rate of interest, okay, fine. Then I asked this question, why it is happening. Then it gave me a lot of effect. I mean some mathematical things like it has a compounding effect because it's a 1 month and he's analyzing it, so a scaling effects की वजह से वो ज़्यादा बढ़ जाता है. I mean, and then time value of money, demand supply dynamics, expectation. So I asked him why the rate is so much. Even though the absolute forward points 2 year higher, scaling effect for shorter tenures results in higher annualized premium. So these are some mathematical kind of explanation, and some lot of volatility happens in the short term. एक महीने में interest rate को इतना आसानी से capture नहीं कर सकती market. Okay, fine. So that will depend on the demand and supply also. कितने आदमी खरीद रहे हैं डॉलर, कितने बेच रहे हैं, तो rates can always go beyond the interest rate. Because the interest rate parity plays on a long term basis. जो इंटरेस्ट रेट का जो है कि दैट द डिफरेंस बिटवीन द यूएस डॉलर वर्सेस इंडिया विल गेट रिफ्लेक्टेड बाय वे ऑफ द इंटरेस्ट रेट डिफरेंशियल. इट प्लेज आउट ओवर अ लॉन्ग टर्म. दैट्स कॉल्ड द फंडामेंटल, बिकॉज व्हेन यू गो टू द मार्केट में बी ऑप्टिमिस्टिक, द सेंसेस इज गोइंग अप एंड इट हैज इवन गॉन बियॉन्ड द फंडामेंटल्स in a normal the current situation, or it can go down also. There is a pessimism and optimism which prevails in the short term. It doesn't reflect you the fundamentals of the companies. समटाइम वी से दैट द मार्केट हैज गॉन अहेड ऑफ द फंडामेंटल्स. जो होना चाहिए सेंसेक्स का या निफ्टी का वो उसमें नहीं है, उससे ज़्यादा ट्रेड कर रहा है. फाइन. सिमिलरली दिस इंटरेस्ट रेट ऑल्सो 1 month, 2 months are not indicative of the interest rate differential or the inflation rate differentials. Okay, they can change. So ये हो गया second. अब forward rates with indirect. Now this I'll explain later. Then this was the chart which actually I copied from the site and converted this into an Excel sheet. It was done by ChatGPT. Okay, आपको ये साइट पे जाके ये चार्ट लेना है और फिर उसको जो है ChatGPT में you convert this into Excel sheet and do your analysis. ओके, सो दिस चार्ट को मैंने यहाँ डाल दिया था, ये फर्स्ट में. ओके, फाइन. एंड देन आई कंप्लीटेड दिस एंड देन वी कम टू नाउ देयर इज अनदर साइट व्हिच गिव्स यू द फुल रेट. ओके, लाइक आई जस्ट शोड यू हियर without bid and this thing. So this is the site. There are two kinds of sites. One side gives you swap points and you have to just add them with the spot rate to arrive the forward rate, or there is a site which gives you a ready-made full rates. Okay, fine. So इसको भी मैंने कॉपी कर दिया. So this I call full rates. तो ये full rates आपको मिल गए. Okay, so there is bid, ask and midpoint. Midpoint is the average. Then these are the points. Okay, then this is the premium. Then I calculate the premium again from this full site. So look at the 1 year premium. So it's giving you around the same 2.416. This is actually the थोड़ा टाइम के बाद की बात है, तो ये 2.6 के आसपास का डिफरेंशियल आ गया. ओके, बिकॉज दैट वाज कैप्चर्ड ऑन द 1st of January and maybe this was captured on 3rd or yesterday. Okay, then हाँ, ऐसा है, एक चीज़ है, अगर आप इसको मेरी एक्सेल शीट को देखोगे आपको समझ में आ जाएगा, और आपको ना समझ में आए, just take this whole thing, put it on our ChatGPT and say explain me all the columns. ये कॉलम कैसे कैलकुलेट करें, है क्या ये कॉलम्स, तो आपको हर चीज का मतलब बताएगा. ओके, तो मैंने इसको कैप्चर भी करा हुआ. जो पॉइंट्स हैं वो जो है डिफरेंस बिटवीन द स्पॉट रेट एंड द फॉरवर्ड रेट है. क्योंकि देखो क्या होता है कि फॉरवर्ड रेट और स्पॉट रेट में डिफरेंस होता है, स्पॉट में और फॉरवर्ड में. स्पॉट रेट, फॉरवर्ड रेट इज इक्वल टू स्पॉट रेट प्लस कॉस्ट ऑफ कैरी. एक होता है कॉस्ट ऑफ कैरी. वो कॉस्ट ऑफ कैरी क्या होता है? फॉर एग्जाम्पल, लेट मी जस्ट गिव यू एन एग्जाम्पल. सपोज you have to buy mangoes. If you go to a person in the month of June and tell him that give me mangoes for the in the month of December. So mangoes are not generally sold in the month of December. So he says मैं आपको दे दूंगा. What I'll do, I'll grow the mangoes in the time, harvest them in the month of May, June, and then they are selling, and then I'll put it in a cold storage, okay, and give you from the cold storage. He says अभी मैंगो का रेट चल रहा है 100 रुपये किलो. बोला दिसंबर की क्या रेट है? कहीं आप बड़े बड़े शॉप में जाओगे, दिसंबर में भी मैंगो मिलता है. He says the mango rate will be 150 rupees या 125 rupees. That 25 rupees is the cost of carry, because that will include the go down charges, cold storage charges, plus the interest, because he's going to block the money, his capital, and it will also include his profit also. Both for the spot and the forward, the profit is going to be there same, but the difference will be only the cost of carry. Okay, so cost of carry in case of commodities is the go down charges or warehouse charges plus the interest. Similarly for stocks, it is the interest forward and future rates in the stock market is the interest rate minus the dividends, because if you are going to buy shares in the forward market from someone now that person is going to give you shares after a month, but he is going to get dividends, so dividend is minused to arrive at the forward rates. तो आपको सस्ता देगा, बोला डिविडेंड तो मुझे मिल जाएगा, तो मैं आपको जो इंटरेस्ट में से वो डिविडेंड निकाल के मुझे ये पैसे पे आप फॉरवर्ड रेट पे मैं आपको भेज देता हूँ, रिलायंस. ओके, सो इंटरेस्ट माइनस डिविडेंड. सो इट इज द कॉस्ट ऑफ कैरी इज इंटरेस्ट माइनस डिविडेंड इन केस ऑफ स्टॉक मार्केट, व्हिच आई एम गोइंग टू एक्सप्लेन व्हेन वी डू द स्टॉक मार्केट इन माय नेक्स्ट क्लास. देन come to the currency. Here the difference will be, ideally speaking, only the interest rate, only the interest, because somebody is going to give you dollars after 1 year. So assume that he is going to buy now and keep the dollar for some time and give you after 1 year. तो अभी तो हम स्पॉट रेट देख रहे हैं, तो स्पॉट के बाद जो इंटरेस्ट डिफरेंशियल है वो आपसे चार्ज कर लेगा. इज दैट ओके? सो वही इंटरेस्ट रेट डिफरेंशियल चार्ज हो रहा है. सो 1.25 जो है दैट इज द इंटरेस्ट रेट डिफरेंशियल. लुक एट द 1 year. सो 1 year इंटरेस्ट रेट डिफरेंशियल इज हाउ मच? 2224. and that is exactly a premium percentage. इसको calculate करेंगे percentage में, it comes to 2.5%. This is just the absolute difference. When you apply the formula, it will be this thing. Now the formula for calculating the forward rate is this. I am talking about currency, okay? Okay, this is the formula. Ideally speaking, this is the formula through which how we calculate the spot rate. Suppose the dollar is 85. So we look at, sorry, this rate is not given to you. So you want to calculate. So spot rate is 85. Okay, you want to calculate the rate after 1 year. So 1 plus the home currency. The home currency rate is how much? Say 0.06 or something. Okay, and the rate in England is America, it is 0.04 for example. तो ऐसे हम लेते हैं और इसको जो है 85 into 1.06 divided by 1.04 and then we calculate the new rate. So it will capture the interest rate differential. Interest rate in India is say 6%, in America it's say 4%. Okay, so we take the home currency interest rate divided by the foreign currency, and this is like this. You know, $1 is equal to 85 rupees. So this is the home currency and this is the foreign currency. So this is because this is the home currency to quoting with the hour. This is the Indian quote, direct quote. So that means the home currency rate of interest will be 6% and this will be 4% foreign currency to identify. Okay. हाँ जी, ये इंटरेस्ट रेट पैरिटी फॉर्मूला है. सब फॉर्मूला सेम ही है. परचेजिंग पावर पैरिटी भी लो, इन्फ्लेशन रेट पैरिटी भी लो और इंटरेस्ट रेट, सबका फॉर्मूला एक ही तरह का ही है. इंटरेस्ट रेट की जगह वो इन्फ्लेशन रेट आ जाएगा. ओके फाइन. हाँ, इसको रेस टू पर 5 कर दो. इसको 5 से स्क्वायर करते जाओ, मल्टीप्लाई, तो 5 साल का फॉरवर्ड रेट आ जाएगा. If you are assuming the rate of interest will remain same for the 5 years, okay. If you think the interest rate will keep changing, then for each year you have to calculate separately. Okay, so ये full rate आ गया. इसके बाद है अब ये पॉइंट्स थे. ये देखो, ये पॉइंट्स जो था ये भी आपका एनीवे प्रीमियम, ये प्रीमियम कैलकुलेट कर दिया मैंने. ये देखो, ये प्रीमियम जो है यहाँ पर 2.42% आ रहा है. इससे भी जो प्रीमियम कैलकुलेट करा वो भी आपका सेम आ रहा है. Now, all the dollar versus rupee is quoted up to 4 decimal places. All the quotes are up to 4 decimal places. The last decimal place is called the pip. Okay, just read this. What are pips? आप पढ़िए.